Hello and welcome to our special show on the Border Gavaskar Trophy, and then we will move on to the WPL at 7 p.m. like we do every single day. Men and women, optimum coverage from us here on Rev Sports. And today at Ahmedabad, it was a Virat Kohli classic. People are comparing it with the Sachin Tendulkar 241 in Sydney in terms of the discipline, not the wicket, but in terms of the discipline. Virat Kohli once again showing the drought is finally over. With me on the show, Atreya Mukhopadhyay joining us from Ahmedabad, and in the studio, my friend Joydeep Mukherjee. Atreya, to you first. Virat Kohli classic, your post-match review, or rather post-day review. The smile said it all. You enjoyed it. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, see, not often do you witness something like this. I mean, we all know that he was under a lot of pressure coming into this match. The team was also under a bit of pressure. I mean, after conceding 480 in the first innings. And so somebody had to be there and go on to get something really big. And Virat Kohli did that, and that is not the highlight. The highlight is the way he went about it. There were times when he was under pressure in the sense that the runs had completely dried up. The Australian bowled very, very disciplined and restrictive lines, which were not, which was difficult to breach. And so he made up his mind that I will not give my wicket away. I will not hit through the covers. I will not drive through the offside. I will just be there. And that's easier said than done. I mean, when somebody does that at the highest level, like you were saying, Sachin then 241 in Sydney, he not a single cover drive. Today, he did not drive in the entire first session for 2 hours. He didn't hit a boundary, number one, and he didn't hardly played any drive on the offside because the Australian bowlers hardly gave him anything on that line. So he just decided to stay put and came up with an exemplary, an innings of exemplary restraint and patience, which eventually brought India to a position from where they can call the shots, which didn't look that likely at the beginning of the day.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 runs of 40 balls. Set it up. Been there, done it. Too smart a cookie. Exactly knows what was required. Usman Khwaja put on a show. He said, I put up one of my own. He put his ego aside. He put his strike rate aside. He put everything else aside and said, I'm going to do it for the team. And I know we are all talking about Virat Kohli's 180 plus, but it's also what he's done for the team. Today, we are all breathing easy because of this knock.
So, Atreya mentioned this point about discipline, about restraint, and you've been there, you've played cricket at the highest level. Talk to us. How difficult is it when you curb your natural instincts? You grind, you're not looking good. Clive Lloyd once told me, in test match cricket, you must look ugly to score big. Talk to me about that Virat Kohli now.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when you talk about the great players, it's how they control their mind. Beyond a certain point, everybody's skill set is there. Like, your friend Sachin's not hitting the cover over 2 days. How much can he control the mind? So our coaches, when we were younger, Arun Gopal's boys would tell me, can he control your mind? Can he not talk for 10 minutes? Can he not look left for the next 15 minutes? Can he, try and control your mind. See if whatever your mind says, your body can follow. And that is what they have. Skill set, Virat Kohli will always have it. But not being able to do it. And when I'm with Bengal and I see some of the young boys get out to a 5th ball rash shot and they're crying in the dressing room that why did I do that? Everybody in the stand is cursing them that he played, but he's crying. He didn't want to play the shot, but he cannot control the mind. So there's a mind control aspect to it, and whoever does that better. See, the bigger the range, the more the mind control. The smaller the range is the player, the less the mind control. So Pujara, the mind control is less because he doesn't have a range of Virat Kohli. But when you're Shubman Gill, when you're Rohit Sharma, then you can control your mind that much more.
Fascinating point. Atreya, while we talk about Virat, and I'll come back to Virat, but talk a little bit about Akshar Patel. 79, 84, 70 plus, twice in Indore unbeaten. If you really see impact, he's been India's most impactful batter right through the series. The first 2 test matches we won, we have to give it to Akshar Patel. Atreya.
I mean, player of the match in both games, half of that should have gone to Akshar Patel in the first 2 matches. Although Jadeja it was in both games. And over here, it was more important because he took the pressure off Virat Kohli. Virat Kohli had to keep one end occupied and also score runs. I mean, those were two responsibilities. But Akshar Patel took that run scoring responsibility away from him by scoring those quick runs. He went after the bowling after playing himself in, and it was invaluable to an extent. And largely due to that partnership, that India, raced past the Australian total and went on to take a substantial lead. It is That is mostly due to that partnership. And it would be wrong to say that Akshar Patel dominated that partnership. So it was a continuation of Akshar the batsman, Akshar the batter, and he has done that in the past. But on every game, with every game, he's improving. I mean, we see a more confident Akshar coming out to bat in the middle in every match. So today was an extension of that, a continuation of that, and largely due to that partnership, which was dominated to an extent by Akshar, that India are in a position where they are.
Okay. Same question before, and may I also sort of request Swapnil to get ready. After Joydeep answers this one, we'll play the clip from Michael Clark, where Michael Clark talks about Virat Kohli. We've spoken to Greg Chappell, we've spoken to Michael Clark. Both of them have spoken about Virat Kohli. But first, Joydeep on Akshar Patel.
Player of the series for me so far. Today, I think today's innings was, a walk in the park for him. Nicely set up, easy wicket, not much happening. At first ball he faced straight to cover, that's confidence for you. You see the more renowned batters coming in defending balls and they don't have too many runs. He's got runs on bad wickets. So now for him, this was a walk in the park. He's the third spinner in the team, so he's not been able to show either. He's the third bowler to go to for the skipper as spinners are concerned. But he's become somebody. Now when we go abroad and play, you can't leave him out of the 11.
That was a question.
I know.
You take that.
I've been around with people for too long. I know that's coming.
Go for it. I mean, how do you leave an Akshar Patel who's contributed so handily with the bat? This will be a tricky selection call.
If there's one spinner playing, on a good wicket, you might go with Ashwin. So 5 Test match hundreds. Plus, on a good wicket, he's our best bowler. Okay, and the reason is because he can bowl slow. And our coaches always say, the better the wicket, the slower the bowling, the worse the wicket, the quicker the bowling. Because what happens is when the wicket is really good, a little bit of extra revs up in the air makes the ball, turn and drift and blah blah blah. When the wicket is bad, quick means you can't use your feet and you have less time to adjust. So that is the reason why if one spinner plays on a really good wicket, it's Ashwin. But now Jadeja cannot take his place to London. He's got competition.
Okay, Jadeja has competition, and imagine if Ravindra Jadeja has competition, means Akshar Patel has seriously done well. That's the depth India has at this point in time. Swapnil, if you're ready with the Michael Clark clip, Michael Clark on what he has seen in Virat Kohli and why he thinks Kohli is back to his best.
Thoughts on Virat the way you've seen so far?
He's back to his best. There's no doubt about it. Call it the Test series, the one days, then he's got IPL, Test champion, whatever it is. He's back to his best. He's playing good cricket. He looks free in the mind. He still looks fit and healthy, so he can play but he can play for as long as he wants, as long as his mind is there, and you can see when he's batting. I like to watch batters as the bowler's running in or they show a close-up. You can see that focus in their eye. He's on. He just wants to be in the middle and he wants to make hundreds. And when Virat's like that, doesn't matter who's playing against him, he's very dangerous. That's why I say Australia, if they get half a chance, you can't drop Virat Kohli. You've got to catch it. Virat, that's what I'd say. I feel you can see in his game that he's sharp again, mentally fresh, sharp on his feet, determined to score runs. Unfortunately for Australia, that's when he's at his most dangerous. That's when there's big scores around the corner.
Okay, so there's Michael Clark speaking about Virat Kohli. After 90-run lead, do you see anything happening, or is the wicket just too good? Indian spinners did create chances. That one drop of Matthew Kuhneman, KS Bharat. There was another smallish opportunity off Travis Head. So a little bit happening there, but is it a task too tall for India?
It is, because the ball has started turning a bit. There were a few, I think, which kept low as well. But it's still going to be big ask, taking 10 wickets on this wicket, and they have to get them for not too many runs. And there is not a lot of time remaining in this match. Having said that, they have achieved what they had set out for, which is put Australians under pressure on the last day. The lead is not huge. 90 is not a huge lead, but Australians will always have in the back of their mind that they have collapsed. They have lost wickets in heaps in the previous matches, in all 3 matches actually, even in the one that they won in Indore. So that will be on the back of their minds, and Indians will have nothing to lose here actually. I mean, to come to this position from after conceding 480 is a psychological boost, and Indians can have fielders around the bat and try and put Australians under. If they get 2 wickets in the first hour, match is on. I mean, there is a game on, no doubt about that.
Okay, same question. India is not losing this series. Not even India is clearly winning this series 2-1. We can say that, because unless something absolutely dramatic happens, So how would Rohit Sharma go about his business? Push for a win?
Yeah, push for a win. I think, the 90 plus gives you a little bit of runs to play with. I think it's the 5th day wicket, and I don't see it turning square, but as you rightly said, we saw a little bit of turn. Another round of moving will happen tomorrow, which means another little bit of grass will come out, which means the soil gets even more exposed. It's very hot in Ahmedabad. It's been pelting for 4 days. No water gets in once the match starts, so that doesn't help. So I feel the only thing that can get India a win is if they have a bit of panic. And that can happen with a couple of wickets. 2, 3, even if you're 20 for 1, suddenly you're 43 for 3, 71 for 5. And that's when the Ashwin, the Jadejas, and the Akshars, they'll just be all over you. And then you won't know how to get away from it. Usman Khwaja, people like these are the people that need to go back to the pavilion because they'll again grind you. This is not a wicket. It'll more of a grind than it was in the first 3 days. Because now not only is it a grind, it is also a little bit of technique that will be required because this wicket is not an indoor wicket, but maybe about 30% of an indoor wicket. So you will need the way of playing spin. You can't play every ball on the back foot. Here we saw, Usman Khwaja playing on the back foot even balls the pitch here because the pitch was so good and flat. But over in the second innings, you won't be able to do all that. I think the spinners will bowl quicker and Jadeja and Akshar will come into play.
Arthur, what is important also is to put things in context. India is the only team that has beaten Australia 2018, 2021 away. Again, last time at home. This time also we are winning the series 2-1, even if it's a draw. Commendable from India in a bilateral contest against Australia. Beating them multiple times and consecutively says a lot about the depth of Indian Test cricket. Thoughts?
Yeah, no doubt. Because if we notice, then we'll see that although the core of the team was the same in all 4 series, but key personnel kept changing. I mean, I'm not talking about 2021. That was exceptional. But even otherwise, some of the key performers kept changing. I mean, we didn't have a Shubman Gill in the previous series in India. Although we had Gill in Australia in 2021, Pujara didn't make much of a contribution over here. Like he had in Australia in 2021. So the key performers have been changing. And that, as you are mentioning, the depth of talent in the Indian ranks, that has shown through here. And that's one reason that India has been able to dominate Australia over four series. That hasn't happened, I think, the post-Clive Lloyd era, that West Indies side. I don't think it has happened that frequently. Australia has not lost 4 consecutive series to one particular side after Clive Lloyd's era. So
that is very important that we place this in context, that India is the only side. I mean, look at Australia's record in Australia. They've dominated every other team that has travelled down under except this Indian side, and that needs to be celebrated. Unfortunately, we are only obsessed with a WTC or a World Cup, and that sort of negates bilateral wins to the side burner for a while. But when you play test match cricket and win series, the credit has to be given. And that's something that we at Rev Sports will do for this particular Indian team. To another point, and before that, let's also say this. A lot of people are saying, so if India win this series, we qualify. No, we don't. New Zealand and Sri Lanka, very interestingly poised. Another great day for Sri Lanka, thanks to that Angelo Matthews 100. Excuse me. If anybody watched that 100, I did. Angelo Matthews was very, very composed. Dhananjay De Silva gave him company, that important partnership before Dinesh Chandimal also gave him company, 100-run partnership, and now 28 for 1 New Zealand with 280 plus chase. Now that's a tricky one against a Rajitha, against a Lahinu Kumara on a 5th day wicket, which is offering seam and movement. So we've got to wait and see what happens in Christchurch, but both these matches interesting, and India isn't yet there in the WTC final. So that's something that we needed to tell you. But asking Joydeep, from the Australian standpoint, 480 after Indore, you would have thought, okay, they are in control. Clearly, the Indians were able to, come out of jail in that sense and do much better. If you're a Stephen Smith, all you're fighting for is a draw, which in a sense is a kind of moral defeat.
Absolutely. I thought Australia were very, very loose in not getting 600 in the first innings. I think India had won the toss, they would get 650, 700 on this pitch. And would have rolled over Australia twice on that. The pitch, the way it's behaving now, if India had scored 650, they wouldn't let Australia get 480. They wouldn't.
Where do you think Smith went wrong? With field placements, negative, what? Or they don't have the quality?
No, I think we know how to battle such pitches. I have grown up battling on such pitches. If you put the Arun Lals and the Ashok Malhotras on those people I've played with on these wickets, they hit hundreds every other game. These are very, very good batting wickets, but slow. But this is not somewhere where Utpal Chatterjee will come and get 12 overs, 27-5. He will put 41 overs, give 87 runs and get 5 wickets. Arun Lal will play 247 balls and get 100. Ashok Malhotra will play 274 balls and get 121. So that's the sort of wicket this is. This is a grind wicket for the bowler and the batter. Both. Ashwin also bowled 47 overs, 26 wickets. Where I thought Australia let the balance sheet and gave it to them was by getting only 480. I said it in the show with you also. 480 is just about par if you won the toss. India has done this before to many foreign teams where they win an important toss, they get 600, 650 and they don't bat again.
Akshay, coming to you, when we see these scores, 480, India gets close to 600, that is when we understand the importance of the Ravi Ashwin effort of 6 for 90 odd. When you see a Nathan Lyon struggling 60 odd overs, when you see a Matthew Kuhneman, a Ravindra Jadeja, an Akshar Patel, a Todd Murphy, and then you see a Ravichandran Ashwin, you understand how good he was. Akshay.
Yeah, as Joydeep has been mentioning in this show, that Ashwin is India's best good wicket bowler. Good wicket as in which is good for batters. Nathan Lyon made a very interesting point after the close of play yesterday. He said that whatever he had done, he had 1 wicket at the end of the day yesterday. He said, what I have bowled here is better than what I had done in Indore. In Indore, he had 12 wickets in the match, I guess. 8 in the second innings. Here he had 1. I mean, those 12 wickets came in some 40 overs. And here, after some 30 overs, he had 1 wicket. So he said that what I have done over here is better than what I have done in Indore, and that puts in perspective the value of Ashwin's performance and his greatness as a bowler. Because wickets were not easy to come by. I mean, his last 5 wickets I think came in the last 2 sessions or thereabouts. He had 1 wicket at the end of the first day, and he kept going on, and with his variations and control, he had remember the wicket he took of the left-hander when he broke the 9th wicket stand. With the third new ball rather, it was something that went the other way. It was not an off break. He came into the left-hander and hit him on the pad. It was a leg before a verdict. So those things he keeps varying. I mean, he keeps inventing those things. I mean, he's an engineer by qualification, and he's also an engineer by practice, by what he does in the cricket field. So hats off to him. I mean, India is very lucky to have him actually. He's like Joydeep keeps saying.
I'll go to Joydeep on that. In fact, Ashwin spoke to us about overthinking. At some point, we'll play that clip for you also. But Joydeep,
just to add to that, if Ashwin had bowled, Ashwin is brilliant, huge admirer of his. If Ashwin had bowled to this Indian batters, he wouldn't have got 6 wickets in 47 overs. It's how you play. You look at the way Travis Head got it. You look at the way Smith got it. Look at the Labuschagne. He had only Rohit Sharma got it loose. And Ashwin at the end. Look at the batters in the middle. You have to get a Pujara out. You have to get a Shubman Gill out. So it's not that. I thought they thought that 480 was enough, and 480 wasn't enough. They thought 480 was enough, and 480 will get 480 in the first innings on this pitch is just about like a 280, 300 on a normal wicket. This is as good a test wicket as you get these days.
Okay. We've also spoken to Greg Chappell about Virat Kohli, and Greg helps us understand why Kohli is special. Take a listen to Greg Chappell on Virat Kohli.
Well, the bowlers have to be on the top of their game. Virat is a good player, a very good player. He is back in form. I think he has a special place for Australia in his reckoning of Test cricket, and a special place for beating Australia. I think that's he sees that as the biggest challenge in world cricket, and he will want to do well. If I was sitting in the Australian dressing room, would definitely be talking about plans to stop him from scoring big scores, make it very hard for him to get any momentum. So
okay, so Akshay, your screen for some reason is black. Couldn't see you. If we can get you back. Yes, I think Shopnil is trying to get you back. There you are. Shreyash Iyer, yet another case of somebody We still don't know the level of the injury, how bad it is. What we are being told is he will not be part of the ODI series. The IPL coming, obviously his franchise, Kolkata, will have control over it. But again, a Jasprit Bumrah, a Prasidh Krishna, and now a Shreyas Iyer focus on the NCA. Atriya.
Yeah, there is something wrong with our injury management system. Had it been a one-off case, I wouldn't have said this. But as you mentioned, these things are happening to so many players in such a short period of time. I mean, all these incidents have come in a space of some 4 or 5 months. So it suggests that there is something is going wrong. It's either in the assessment, or either in the treatment, or either in the diagnosis, or something else, or maybe all taken together. So there is something wrong, and there is something, and this looks. This requires immediate look, because somebody has to take a closer look at this, examine the system, and take appropriate calls, because it can't keep happening. I mean, you can't rule a player fit unless there is something major that has happened that we don't know. Okay. During the course of days. But if this keeps recurring,
let's get Joydeep on this. I mean, this is a warning sign for Indian cricket. From what we know, Bumrah was suggested surgery. We did not allow him. We got him back for 2 matches, and look what happened. We got him back again, he couldn't play. Now he's had to undergo surgery. World Cup is in doubt. September, October comeback. Look at Prasidh Krishna. Again, advised surgery not done. Now Shreyas Iyer, what's going on?
Yeah, this is worrying. Because we had about 8 or 10 fast bowlers of ours who was injured. Kuldeep Singh was injured for a while, didn't play Ranji Trophy. So a lot of these targeted bowlers that they have, where it's the next floor, a lot of them are injured as well. So that's a worrying one. And there I look at somebody like Jaydev Unadkat. Year in, year out, doesn't miss one Ranji game, doesn't miss one Vijay Mustaq Ali game, Dilip Trophy. Every game he's there. So sometimes maybe just take a cue out of just going back to what you did old school sometimes, because this is worrying, and someone needs to sort it out. I don't know the answer for it, because I'm not in the inner circle to tell you why it's happening, but it should be happening.
Achu, just another follow-up. I mean, when something like this happens, and Shreyas Iyer is an important member of the white ball unit as well, but there you go, the IPL round the corner. Key question for his franchise, and the synergy between the board and the franchise as to how to treat a special player like Shreyas Iyer. Once again, that will be in question with KKR and the BCCI. Thoughts?
See, this year, a few months back, there was an announcement on behalf of BCCI that the NCA and the franchises will be in touch with each other regarding injury management or fitness management. I'm not sure how much of it's going to happen actually, because the franchises will obviously try and make most of the players they have invested in. I'm not sure how much control the NCA will have over suggesting what kind of workload a player can take. But this is something which is very worrying, because World Cup year, and these are key white ball names. So these are important players in India scheme of things. So I don't know what's going to happen, because and it's not going to get any easier. The situation can only get more complicated. When NCA and franchises I don't think they can work in with complete cooperation towards each other, and because franchises will obviously have an upper hand when it comes to deciding who plays and when and how much. So it's a tense few months. I think it's an anxious few weeks coming up. There could be more.
What he says is important, because when you think of the white ball World Cup coming up, you have no Rishabh Pant, you have no Jasprit Bumrah, who's iffy at this point in time, and 2 of your match winners are in doubt, and then you hear a Shreyas Iyer news, the alarm bells start to ring.
And also, the worrying bit is that whoever is replacing them, also if they have some niggles, are they going to be able to hold up or not? We had Mohammad Shami who hadn't played the last 40 T20s for India coming against T20 World Cup. So that hampers our preparation. That is why it's very important for everybody to know what is going on and level playing field, and we know what is going on.
Okay, so coming back to the Border Gavaskar Trophy, last 5 minutes on my show for this particular one, before we move on to the WPL overall. Yes, 1 day still left, but you've been impressed with India right through the series?
Yeah, I don't think they've been in their A game, but they've been in their B+ game. I don't think they've been A game because our batters haven't got done. Like you said, Axel has bailed us out. I would have expected Rohit's superb innings in the first one, and then the other batters really did, but it's a difficult pitch to bat on. And once the good pitch came, look at Shubman, look at Virat, look, everybody's cashed in. And today we batted without, we were one batter less, and we didn't even feel it. That's how good we were. So yeah, I'm impressed, but I think we could be better. We have been better on such pitches. We've annihilated teams. We haven't annihilated teams. This was a contest.
Achal, Shubman Gill settled the debate once and for all. I mean, after Bangladesh once again got dropped, etc. But now done. Shubman Gill and Rohit Sharma, at least we will see in the WTC final. No debate.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The question is, I mean, after how many matches after that? I mean, Gill has to be persisted with, and well, there is not. This is a. There is no answer to this. This cannot be answered. This doesn't have to be answered because it's obvious. I mean,
beyond the WTC.
Yeah, I mean that's what Achal just said. That longer term.
Yeah, when you give somebody a long run, you've got to give a long run knowing that he's going to play a couple of series. They did that to Mayank Agarwal, and we saw Mayank did very well for us. He lost form, he's out. They always say that getting in should be tough, but leaving him out you should think about it. Make it really tough for him to get in, because then.
Can you hear us? Achal's not there. Can Chopney hear us? You can? Okay, last couple of questions before I let Joydeep go. I'll get Trisha in. In the meantime, you can get Achal back onto the show. The last one. 2-1 series looks the most predictable result at this point in time, unless something dramatic happens. Achal, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Achal, can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
You can. Okay, good. So the last question on this part of the show before I let Joydeep go and get Trisha in. Rohit Sharma's captaincy and Rahul Dravid as coach. Winning a series against Australia will give this duo a big boost.
Yeah, absolutely. And they needed that. So Rohit is a fantastic player, very good captain, 5 IPLs, blah, blah, blah. They haven't had the great start to their captaincy, coaching legacy. So this will give them, something into building blocks, into making a good career together. They both needed this. They both needed this.
Absolutely.
And I'm not putting 3-1 beyond. I think there's a 40% chance for a 3-1.
Wow. He's giving a 40% chance to India. Atriya Mukhopadhyay, I'm giving a 20% chance. How much are you and how important is this for Rohit and Rahul Dravid?
Well, coming to the second question first, I mean, they have already ensured that they're going to win this series. So that's a big one. It's a big series, Australia. So it's a good start. Good start. It was Rohit's first serious test as a test captain. So he has done that with flying colours. And coming back to what's going to happen in Ahmedabad on the last day, I would say that it's still draw is the more likely result. But I would say it's a 60% draw, 40% India.
Oh, he's gone with Joydeep. 40% India, says Joydeep.
Mukherjee.
Says Joydeep. And the Mukherjees unite. 40% for India, says both of them. We've got to review this tomorrow evening. But on that note, I thank Joydeep Mukherjee. Atrio stays on. We'll get Trisha Ghoshal. But before we do that, we move on to the WPL with a beautiful story. The success of this WPL has been Saika Ishaq. Debashish Sen caught up with Saika's coach Shiv Sagar Singh and the other trainees. Look at this lovely story. The longer story, the more in-depth story is already on our social media platforms if you want to look at it. But look at this small clip of about a couple of minutes as we get Trisha Ghoshal in and Joydeep Mukherjee leaves this particular show to join us again at night. Thank you, Joydeep. Thanks for your insights. Get you back tomorrow. Can we have the Saika Ishaq story, please?
लेकिन वो मुझे एक दिन फोन की कि सर मेरा नाम साइका इशाक है और मैं लेफ्ट आर्म स्पिनर हूँ और मैं बंगाल के लिए खेलते, लेकिन लास्ट 3 साल से मैं टीम से ड्रॉप हूँ। तो आप मुझे कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स हो रहा है, मैं ओवरकम नहीं कर पा रही हूँ, तो प्लीज़ आप मुझे कोचिंग कराइएगा, क्योंकि मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा कि मैं क्या करूँ, क्योंकि मैं ऑलरेडी 3 साल से ड्रॉप हूँ क्रिकेट। तो मैंने उसको बोला कि आप आओ, मैं बात करता हूँ। फिर वो आई, मैं देखा जब बात किया थोड़ा मेंटली भी बहुत डाउन था, क्योंकि हर प्लेयर्स के कैरियर में होता है कि अप्स एंड डाउन्स होते हैं, और उसका एक बड़ा फेस था जिससे वो बहुत लड़ रही थी कि कैसे निकले। और ऐसा नहीं कि उसमें टैलेंट नहीं है, बहुत टैलेंटेड है और बहुत स्मार्ट क्रिकेटर है। तो एक कुछ टेक्निकल एरर थे जो उसको ठीक करना था और मेंटली थोड़ा बूस्टअप करना था। तो मैंने उससे पहले बात किया कि क्या क्या था लास्ट 3 इयर्स में, क्या हुआ क्या नहीं। तो वो मुझे बोलती है सर ये बात है, तो ये हुआ। तो मैं उससे बात करने के बाद मैं उसको बोला कि देखो कुछ चीज़ें हैं, टेक्निकल चीज़ें आप अगर सुधारोगे तो आपके लिए बहुत आसान हो जाएगा, तो आप जहाँ से थे आप कम बैक कर जाओगे। तो मैंने उसको बॉलिंग वगैरह कराया, तो कुछ टेक्निकल चीज़ें हैं, रेगुलरली उस पर काम करते रहे हम लोग। और मैं जितना काम करते गया, मैं देखा बहुत स्मार्ट लड़की है और बहुत कॉन्फिडेंट लड़की है कि छोटे एक बार बोलने समझ जाती है और करना स्टार्ट कर देती है। तो मैं उससे फिर दोबारा बात करने लगा, देखो मैं जो देख रहा हूँ तुम्हारा बॉलिंग, तुम अगर ऐसे करती रही तो ज़्यादा दूर में फिर कभी बंगाल टीम में कम बैक करोगी और अच्छा करोगी। तो उसको बिलीव होना स्टार्ट किया कि मैं भी फिर से दोबारा कम बैक कर सकती हूँ और अच्छा कर सकती हूँ। तो मैंने उस पर काम करते रहा, काम करते टेक्निकल चीज़ों पर और मेंटली चीज़ों पर भी। तो वो धीरे धीरे कॉन्फिडेंट होते गए। फिर उसने बंगाल टीम में कम बैक किया। तो बंगाल टीम में कम बैक करने के बाद उसने वनडे में भी अच्छा किया, जोन खेली, वनडे जोन, वनडे चैलेंजर खेली इंडिया ए के लिए, फिर T20 में अच्छा किया बंगाल के लिए, T20 जोन खेली, T20 चैलेंजर खेला उसने।
So there you go, Shiv Shagor Singh talking about Saika Ishaq. But if you want to see, the training site, the other trainees there, how they take pride in Saika Ishaq's performance at this point in time, look at Debashish Sen's profile, which is on our social media platforms, our app, the website, the social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, and of course, Instagram. Question: how long before Saika Ishaq plays for India? Welcome, Trisha Ghoshal, take that.
I think we will see her in the very next 2. She'll be there in the squad, for sure.
Saika Ishaq in the Indian squad, according to Trisha, in the very next one. Same question, Atriya Mukhopadhyay. We haven't seen Radha Yadav do much. We haven't seen Rajeshwari Gaikwad do much, though she picked up one the other night. But Radha Yadav, certainly one should ask questions. Can Saika Ishaq make it into the team, Atriya?
I think she will make it very soon, because performance in tournaments like this matter a lot. We have seen in the IPL, in the first edition of IPL, when Riddhiman Shah, Ashok Dinda and Manpreet Goni, if not more players, came into a national reckoning after that. So same, I think I'm expecting something similar here. And more importantly, because India's other left-arm spinners, those who play for India, have not done that well. Neither for India nor in this tournament so far. So Saika Ishaq will be there very soon. Exactly when it's difficult to say, but she has made a big impact, no doubt about that. I mean, look at the names she has got out.
Mumbai versus Uttar Pradesh tonight. Let's set that up. Mumbai Indians on a roll, winning all their games. Harmanpreet Kaur's team, mentored by Jhulan Goswami, Charlotte Edwards as coach. They're looking good. So far, clearly 1-2 for certain for Mumbai as of now.
Absolutely. I think you are actually demeaning them by saying 2. It's just 1. Everything is clicking for them. And most importantly, the team looks to be a unit, which is missing in somebody like an RCB, because Nat Silver would come up running to Harman to say a few things. Yastika is also getting involved. So everyone is involved, and there is this whole team bonding, which is fantastic. I think one of the reasons.
Achu, take that. I mean, actually, she's right. I mean, everyone firing, and Nat Silver doing her part, Harman getting a 60+, and Amelia Kerr contributing. I've obviously sort of not mentioned yet, but the star of the tournament, Hayley Matthews, coming good every game. Yastika Bhatia playing her part in the last match. All of a sudden, nobody seems to fail in that Mumbai Indians lineup. Akshay? Akshay, can you hear me?
No, voice is breaking actually.
Can you hear me now?
It's distorted. It's getting distorted. Can you hear me properly?
Yes, I can. My question was, if you look at the Mumbai lineup, whether it's a Harman, whether it's an Amelia Carr, a Hayley Matthews, a Yastika Bhatia, Nat Siva, I think we've lost our throw there. That same question, I mean, all of a sudden, it's looking like everyone is outdoing each other in terms of performance.
Absolutely, and that is where someone like Australia, same thing happens with Australia. That's why they are number one. Same is happening with Mumbai. So they are number one because of that. Because everybody is clicking, everybody is performing, and everybody is doing their job roles well.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I think they have been different from every team. And honestly, the captaincy also has not been tested much because you get in the bowlers, they're getting wickets. I think overall fantastic.
And the Atro's back, but before that, let me announce UP Warriors have won the toss and have opted to bat first. Atro, if you can hear me, UP Warriors have won the toss and opted to bat first. Let me give you the teams. UP, Devika Vaidya, Alyssa Healy, Shweta Sherawat, Kiran Navgire, Talia Magra, Deepti Sharma, Simran Sheikh, Sophie Eccleston, Shabnim Ismail makes a comeback. No Grace Harris once again, Anjali Sarvani and Rajeshwari Gaikwad. For Mumbai, Yastika Bhatia, Hayley Matthews, Nat Siva Brand, Harmanpreet Kaur, Dhara Gujjar, Amelia Kerr, Issy Wong, Amanjot Kaur, Humaira Kazi, Jintimani Kalita, and of course, Saika Isha. Look at the Dhara comes in place of Pooja, the only change in that side, and we will actually show you a rather funny photograph in a second about, there you go, Dhara Gujjar and Trisha Ghoshal's back, when Trisha used to actively be a part of the circuit as a player and subsequently as a coach. There you have that picture, Dhara Gujjar on Trisha Ghoshal's back. We take our sport seriously, folks, and that photograph is testimony. Achha, if you can sort of see the two teams, Mumbai has a very settled look to it already after 4 matches. Thoughts?
They look like, see, we are saying this because they have won all their matches. And everybody who was given some responsibility, they have performed. So that's one reason we are saying that they are a more settled unit. But don't rule out UP Warriors because they are also a good side. I mean, they have also got contributions from a lot of people. I mean, a lot of players, and they have 2 wins from 3 matches, if I am right.
Yes, they have 4 points. Yes.
Yeah, 2 wins from 3 matches is not bad, and they have. Other than the one that the match which Grace Harris won for them, that was a one woman show or one batter show, we can say. But otherwise, they are trying to put up a collective performance, which Mumbai Indians have been doing, and I think Mumbai Indians will be tested by UP.
Grace Harris Grace Harris replaced by Shabnim Ismail. Alyssa Healy did not say it was an injury at the toss at least, so it's a call in terms of combination toss.
Yes, I think I feel that UP is interchanging between Ismail and Harris depending on whether they're chasing or whether they're batting first. I mean, if their objective is that way. And of course, the pitch, I mean, it would be interesting to know what was what's the pitch like. If
the report says it's a high-scoring venue and the wicket is flat and even.
If it's flat and even, they want to go for, because see, somewhere close to Grace Harris, Talia Magra plays kind of the same role, but you need, if it's a flat wicket against a Mumbai batting lineup, you need to strengthen your bowling.
In the last match, Shabnim Ismail did not look the part, but Shabnim Ismail, we all know with that extra pace that she has, the experience that she has, Athro will always be a handful. Somebody you can go in terms of experience and can rattle an opponent's top order. So thoughts on Shabnim Ismail?
I think that is why. That is the prime reason why she has been given the nod ahead of Grace Harris, who put in such a fantastic performance a few days back. So they definitely want to capitalize on Shabnim Ismail's pace and her ability to hurry the batters. I mean, after pitching the ball, hurrying the batters. That's one quality I think they are relying on, and they definitely have a plan. I mean, otherwise they wouldn't have dropped somebody like Harris after that stupendous performance. So I think they rely quite heavily on her, on Shabnim Ismail.
We saw that photograph of Dhara Gujjar on your back, and she's the only replacement that Mumbai has brought in today for Pooja. Tell us a Dhara Gujjar story. I mean, she's done extremely well for Bengal, we know that, but tell us more about her.
Well, you did see her tiny and on my back, but even then she had the determination of playing long innings, and she was good with the ball as well. I have rarely seen someone who is that gutsy at that age. I never saw, she would stand for fielding. Whenever the coaches hit, generally young kids would draw their hand behind and, be a little scared. But Dhara would come running towards the ball, so she loves fielding as well. I think if you probably ask her, she would say fielding session is what she enjoys the most. I think it's a fantastic inclusion, to be very honest. She can bowl, she can bat, she can field, and on top of that, she's getting good experience because India would need 3D players, if I may say.
And if you see Dhara Gujjar's performance in the domestic circuit and in the first class circuit, she's done very well. So she deserves her spot in that team. It's no one can say that Jhulan Goswami is pushing a girl from Bengal. That's not the case. I mean, if you see the performances, Jhulan has already struck gold with a Saika Ishaq, and today Dhara Gujjar makes it in. Yes, Trisha.
My only point with people saying these things that, Jhulan pushing Bengal players or Mithali pushing Railways players, see, you have to understand how it works. Jhulan has seen Dhara the most. She knows her capacity more than you would do. I mean, any viewer would do. And that's why she is pushing. Maybe, I'm not saying there is no Dhara Gujjar in the entire Indian domestic circuit, but for Jhulan to see that would be tougher.
Sure.
And that's the backing that they give. You have to understand from everyone's perspective before getting and trolling them.
And it is only natural that you will need someone to back you. A Ramakant Achrekar and a Raj Singh Dungarpur backed a Sachin Tendulkar. Somebody backed a Virat Kohli. It's natural. I mean, look at Saika Ishaq. If she did not get an opportunity, what on earth would have happened? I mean, she would be the purple cap holder. And, that's how it is. After you made the point about Saika Ishaq's time will come now when she's put under the cosh. But even in that last game, the 3 wickets that she took, I've asked you this question, but I'm asking you again. Yes, she is quality, but did temperament stand out for you? Because for us, her temperament has been absolute spot on. Bowling in the power play, bowling at the death, bowling a crucial over the 13th, 14th one. So in every sense, she's been put under pressure, but she's delivered. That's it.
And she delivers without looking phased. She's never overawed by the occasion. I mean, she was bowling to some big names in the previous match. I mean, the wickets she got, 2 of them are India stars and one is the biggest star of women's cricket worldwide. So, I mean, it's not a mean achievement, and she never looked rattled. I mean, she doesn't let the reputation of the opposition get to her. She is her own self. She has a lot of belief in herself, it seems. And otherwise, she bowls that wicket-to-wicket line, and most of her victims are either bowled or leg before, if you notice. And on top of that, this attitude, which is the trademark, which is the hallmark of a lot of young Indian cricketers across sections. So she is no exception, and those are the traits that might take her to a higher level.
Once again, I plugged the Debashish Sen profile of Saika Ishaq. Go to our social media handles. It's an in-depth profile, and we were the first to speak to her coach. You will see it in the host broadcaster as well, from what I know. But we've spoken to her coach, the other trainees, the other students of Shiv Sagar Singh. She trained with boys, she trained with men ahead of the WPL, and then got ready. So nothing's a fluke. Okay, there is a hell lot of hard work that has gone in. So please appreciate that, and you might just enjoy watching that profile. But Alyssa Healy, 96 of 47 against a Saika Ishaq. Set that up.
Oh, I think this will be where Saika will be tested, because even though Meg Lanning is obviously a global star, but Meg Lanning has her weaknesses against left-arm spinners. But Healy is fantastic. But where Saika, sorry for adding this, but where Saika stands out is the fact that she wants to take wickets every ball. She is not going to back up. And same goes for Healy. So I think it's a leap-smacking contest.
And now that she's got this 96, she'll have that confidence that, I'm back in form, and she'll try to sort of dominate. Because if she's able to dominate a young in terms of experience, not in terms of age, but Saika Ishaq, 26, 27, not really has seen somebody of Alyssa Healy's caliber and stature. If you concede a few runs up front, you might be under the cosh. So in that sense, it's a fascinating one, even for Harman. How does she control a Saika Isha?
I think it will be all a mind game, the field pressings, and where you are bowling to Healy, because Healy is going to manufacture her own shots. That is where it will be fantastic. Also, I think because Saika is very good at using the crease, everything will come in this whole contest, because she will definitely bowl in the power play.
Atra, if UP somehow win tonight, it's more or less at this point in time seeming that it's Mumbai, Delhi, and after if UP win tonight, it's UP. Because Royal Challengers Bangalore, 4 losses, Gujarat have lost quite a few. All of a sudden, it seems a 3-horse contest if UP manage to win tonight. If Mumbai wins it, all of a sudden, once again, Gujarat might just get a sneak peek in. So in that sense, a massive match for UP coming up.
It is, and because it's a great chance for UP to be a real to emerge as a real contender for those playoff slots. And even if they don't win tonight, they will still have a chance. I mean, they will still remain the favorites to take that third spot. So it's a big match. I mean, definitely. And Saika Isha, as we discussed earlier, she's going to be tested, because I still think, although she took 3 wickets in the previous match, I still think her test has begun now. So she will be, as Trisha was saying, that Alyssa Healy is going to be a different ball game for her. But coming back to UP and their chances, I think, no doubt. I mean, if they win today, they are very much there. I mean, it becomes a 3-horse race for those 3 slots.
Correct. And Trisha, the player of the tournament so far, Hayley Matthews.
Absolutely.
Is it the fact that she's not the top dog, the fact that she's not skipper, she's not under that continuous glare like she is for the West Indies?
That's how she's under.
Expressing herself?
Absolutely. I think it makes it easier, because in West Indies, see, you have to understand, when you have that performance pressure, it's either you or nobody. Then that gets to you. Every single day you're going there with the bat, with the ball, you have to perform. But here, honestly, if Hayley Matthews doesn't perform, Harman will get you. If Harman doesn't get you, Silver will get you. That is where I think, Matthews gets that, chance to express herself, and boy, she has done well.
Achu, Hayley Matthews, how impressed are you?
Massively, because she's one-man army, and bowls, takes wickets, scores those blazing runs, and absolute asset for a T20 tournament for any team. And she's informal also. And as Trisha was saying, the pressure on her is less than what it is when she plays for the West Indies, and that's rather a Caribbean trait, I would say. I mean, when they play for the country, and when they play for these Premier Leagues all over the world, they are different beasts altogether. Having said that, to be serious, Hayley Matthews is a serious player and very serious opposition. I mean, any opposition would be scared of her. I mean, she can.
Yeah, he's right. I mean, if you look at Hayley Matthews, I mean, you all of a sudden feel that she's sort of controlling the game with the bat and ball. With the bat, she's taking it away. With the ball, she's getting wickets, and she's one of those sort of USP players, if I can put it that way. Also a kind of leader in that pack. And you see a Nat Siva, you see a Hayley Matthews, you see a Harman, and you're like, hey boy, this team has a lot of leadership in that group. Harman, except that first match, and then you put an Emilia Kerr in, then you put all these other players in, and you're like, where is the weakness? So if I could ask you that, where is the weakness? If UP has to beat a Mumbai, where is the weakness? Where do they cash in? Is it a one kind of Alyssa Healy standout effort,
Absolutely.
individual effort, or how do they beat Mumbai?
It has to be, I think, first it has to be that somebody has to play a knock. Somebody like Healy has to play a knock, like what Dunkley did. 18 ball 50, 20 ball 50. That is where we will start seeing, because Mumbai till now has not been under pressure.
Correct.
Put a team under pressure, you will slowly see the weaknesses coming out. You will slowly see the confusions coming out. Emilia Kerr, who has been bowling fantastically, suddenly bowling full tosses. Saika has a tendency at times under pressure, she might try to bowl very fast. So all these things will be exposed only when you put them under pressure. So I think UP, in fact, I don't mind if UP takes the first 1 over or 2 overs to see and then go rampant, but it has to happen.
Okay. E.C. Wong has made a very interesting comment, actually, that tells me about the Mumbai dressing room. that Jhulan Goswami doesn't speak all the time. It's like Jhulan only talks when there is a very important point to be made and gives them the freedom to do their job. And she says, that's why we are gelling so well, because the staff, the coaching unit, the management, Jhulan, allows us to be as free as possible. Fascinating point from Isi Wong. A small nuance, but a very important nuance at that. Achoo.
I think the biggest, the best of the members of the support staff are those who prefer being on the backstage. I mean, their job is to get the players to perform. I mean, they want the players to express themselves. They may set certain guidelines. Okay, this is how you do it. This is how you don't do it. But ultimately, it's you who has to do it. So you express yourself. You find your own ways. If I see there is something wrong with that, I'll tell you. I'll correct you. But as long as you keep finding the solutions, that's what we want. I think that's something what Gary Kirsten did with the Indian team. That's what Ravi Shastri did with the Indian team. They always remain backstage. I mean, we hardly ever heard them when they were in charge. And Jhulan, I think, is probably playing that kind of a role. She understands. I mean, she understands. She has seen everything in cricket that is there to be seen. So she knows what a coach should do and somebody in the support staff, what they should do and what they should not do. So I think Jhulan is trying to play that kind of a role. She's vastly experienced.
Atro mentioned Ravi Shastri, he mentioned Gary Kirsten, I'll mention Tushar Arote in the 2017 World Cup, played that role from backstage, allowed the Indians to flourish, and India made that final. Yes, some incredible performances, but one remembers that conversation between Jhulan and Tushar while the team was traveling to Derby in the bus when Jhulan wanted to get dropped because she wasn't performing, and the coach said, you are the best in the world, not simply India. Forget about not getting wickets, go deliver. Gave Jhulan the confidence, and the rest is history. That Meg Lanning delivery, which Jhulan considers perhaps the best ball that she has bowled. And by the way, we have that jersey here in our museum. Trisha, one thing that I would want tonight is a close match. I mean, these 10-wicket defeats or wins isn't doing the tournament well. I mean, a match finishing off without, 5 over 70 like yesterday, you don't really want that. As a supporter of the sport, you want the match to be close.
Absolutely. I think, the match which we enjoyed the most was UP versus Gujarat, that went to the last, absolutely to the last ball. Even for someone who was supporting Gujarat, I enjoyed that match, even though Gujarat lost. I would want to see a close match, but again, for it to be a close match, it's very important that Healy gets going. Otherwise, Mumbai will run away with this match.
Achal, is UP over-dependent on Alyssa Healy?
I think they are.
Without Grace Harris more so?
Yeah, I don't know. Why? It's become a curse actually. I mean, if you score a match-winning 50, then next match you are dropped. I mean, it's happened not just once but twice in this tournament so far. So, I wouldn't say they are a one player side, the UP side, but they are quite heavily dependent on Alyssa Healy. Yes.
One woman, Alyssa Healy is what Arthur say. I mean, you also said, but one player who hasn't really sort of set the stage on fire yet, but can, is Talia McGrath.
Absolutely. Talia did play one important innings, but not really, a storm, absolutely. But, Boria, Kiran Navgire can also set the stage on fire. It's not like there is no firepower, but we have always seen, say for example, Gujarat, a team which reaches 200 on one day, gets bowled out for 80, clearly shows that it is the first partnership which is very, very important. Mumbai has been performing well, but to be honest, Harman hasn't performed, since the first match. It didn't matter because Hayley Matthews and Yastika's partnership has been very good, and then Nat Silver has also performed. It is a top-heavy game. I mean, when you play fantasy, you keep saying that it's a top 4.
100%.
So that is one of the reasons. I don't think it's completely one-woman army for UP, but it has to start with. That was my...
Let's give the teams once again. It's UP, Devika Vaidya, Alyssa Healy, Shweta Sherawat, Kiran Navgire, Talia McGrath, Deepti Sharma. That's my next question. Simran Sheikh, Sophie Eccleston, Shabnam Ismail, Anjali Sarvani and Rajeshwari Gaikwad. There will be glare on Rajeshwari Gaikwad. Mini battle, Sai Kaisha. versus Rajeshwari Gaikwad, trying to outdo each other. Rajeshwari will be under pressure from Saika, in fact, in the Indian team, because she'll be knocking the doors. Yastika Bhatia, Hayley Matthews, Natsima Brandt, Harmanpreet Kaur, Dhara Gujjar, as Trisha Ghoshal was pointing out, someone to look for, Emilia Kerr, Issy Wong, Amanjot Kaur, Humaira Kazi, Jinti Bani Kalita, and of course, Saika Ishak. Two final questions. 5 minutes on my show. Atra Mukhopadhyay, Deepti Sharma, somebody we've all backed. We need Deepti Sharma to come into her own for this UP side to fire big. Atra, before I go to Trisha.
I think she, after a low-key start, she did well in the last match. So she's someone who is vastly experienced, and she knows how to go about her job. And I expect her to do better as the tournament goes on. Yes, she didn't have the greatest of starts, but she has it in her to bounce back. I'm sure she will do better than he had in the first two games.
Okay, Deepti Sharma.
With the ball, Deepti, I'm sure will bounce back. With the bat, I think in the Indian team as well as in the UP team, she's batting too low, way too low. You have to see the batting style. She's not going to hit 6 sixes. So you have to bring her to 3, 4 so that she can be the one player around whom the rest of the Indian players. Because see, Kiran Navgir is a fantastic batter, but she's not experienced enough. Deepti whereas can soak in the pressure. And that's why we don't need her as a finisher, because she can't be a finisher. Let's put that forward. With the ball, she's a fantastic death over bowler. But with the bat, she cannot be a finisher. 3, 4, that's it.
Matchups. Rajeshwari Gaikwad versus Saika Ishak. I mean, different, but it's an interesting matchup when two people want to outdo each other tonight. Atra.
What do I say? Because Saika Ishak, everything is going in her favor so far. So expect Rajeshwari Gaikwad to come up with a spirited response.
Okay. Sophie Eccleston versus maybe a Harmanpreet Kaur or even a Hayley Matthews.
It will be a test for the Mumbai batters, because Eccleston has that armor. Eccleston, I think Eccleston number one. She's just brilliant. I would love to watch. But can I add to that Saika and Rajeshwari? Knowing both Saika and Rajeshwari both will be good. Saika looks the more aggressive one, but Rajeshwari is aggressive in the mind. She'll be looking to really impress and kind of put forward a point that, oh, you know what, I'm not all gone.
And it'll be interesting because Radha Yadav has sort of fallen by the wayside a little bit. Shabnim Ismail will test a Yastika Bhatia and a Hayley Matthews. There are some very, very interesting matchups out there. Last minute on my show, because 2 minutes for the match to begin. Let me put my two guests on the spot. After a prediction from you before I go to Trisha. UP. Interesting. And why?
Law of averages.
Okay. Law of averages says after. Australia doesn't believe in law of averages.
I will go with you.
Wow, both my guests.
Because I just feel I can see that. I don't know if you have followed Alyssa Healy's training and everything. Suddenly her body language has changed, and that is where she is very, very dangerous.
So Trisha Ghoshal says Alyssa Healy is the player to watch. Atro said not a one-woman army, but clearly the general in that sense is Alyssa Healy. Both my guests have said UP. Post-match show with Trisha Ghoshal, Bharat Ramraj, Joydeep Mukherjee and Shubhan Chakraborty to answer all your questions. But for the moment, we leave you with that Saika Ishak story. Yes, Atro.
What's your
prediction? My prediction, I will go with Mumbai, because both of you have said UP just to even things out. I don't really, I keep saying this. I don't care who wins, because I want a close match. I want this brand and this property to go higher. I want the stadiums full. I want people to cover.
He's wearing blue.
I'm wearing blue, but that's not any signal. I want people to cover. I want the stadiums full. I want this brand because it's our brand. I don't want newspapers to give a single column space. I want this tournament to get as much traction as it possibly needs to become a global brand. I'll end there with that Saika Ishak story done by Devashish Sen. Join us for the post-match with Trisha Ghoshal and the other panelists. It's been great fun watching and following the WPL, and of course talking with my guests Atreyu and Trisha for tonight. Thank you for watching.
साइका को नहीं जानता था पहले, लेकिन वो मुझे एक दिन फ़ोन की कि सर मेरा नाम साइका इसाक है और मैं लेफ्ट आर्म स्पिनर हूँ और मैं बंगाल के लिए खेलते, लेकिन लास्ट 3 साल से मैं टीम से ड्रॉप हूँ। तो आप मुझे कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स हो रहे हैं, मैं ओवरकम नहीं कर पा रही हूँ, तो प्लीज़ आप मुझे कोचिंग कराइएगा, क्योंकि मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा कि मैं क्या करूँ, क्योंकि मैं ऑलरेडी 3 साल से ड्रॉप हूँ क्रिकेट। तो मैंने उसको बोला कि आप आओ, मैं बात करता हूँ। फिर वो आई, मैं देखा जब बात किया थोड़ा मेंटली भी वो बहुत डाउन था, क्योंकि हर प्लेयर्स के कैरियर में होता है कि अप्स एंड डाउन्स होते हैं, और उसका एक बड़ा फेज था जिससे वो बहुत लड़ रही थी कि कैसे निकले। और ऐसा नहीं कि उसमें टैलेंट नहीं है, बहुत टैलेंटेड है और बहुत स्मार्ट क्रिकेटर है। तो एक कुछ टेक्निकल एरर थे जो उसको ठीक करना था और मेंटली थोड़ा बूस्टअप करना था। तो मैंने उससे पहले बात किया कि क्या क्या था लास्ट 3 इयर्स में, क्या हुआ क्या नहीं। तो वो मुझे बोलती है सर ये बात है, तो ये हुआ। तो मैं उससे बात करने के बाद मैं उसको बोला कि देखो कुछ चीज़ें हैं, टेक्निकल चीज़ें आप अगर सुधारोगे तो आपके लिए बहुत आसान हो जाएगा, क्योंकि आप जहाँ से थे आप कम बैक कर जाओगे। तो मैंने उसको बॉलिंग वगैरह कराया, तो कुछ टेक्निकल चीज़ें हैं, रेगुलरली उस पर काम करते रहे हम लोग। और मैं जितना काम करते गया, मैं देखा बहुत स्मार्ट लड़की है और बहुत कॉन्फिडेंट लड़की है कि छोटे एक बार बोलने से समझ जाती है और करना स्टार्ट कर देती है। तो मैं उससे फिर दोबारा बात करने लगा, देखो मैं जो देख रहा हूँ तुम्हारा बॉलिंग, तुम अगर ऐसे करती रही तो ज़्यादा तुमने फिर कभी बंगाल टीम में कम बैक करोगी और अच्छा करोगी। तो उसको बिलीव होना स्टार्ट किया कि मैं भी फिर से दोबारा कम बैक कर सकती हूँ और अच्छा कर सकती हूँ। तो मैंने उस पर काम करते रहा, काम करते टेक्निकल चीज़ों पर और मेंटली चीज़ों पर भी। तो वो धीरे धीरे कॉन्फिडेंट होते गए, फिर उसने बंगाल टीम में कम बैक किया। तो बंगाल टीम में कम बैक करने के बाद उसने वनडे में भी अच्छा किया, जोन खेली, वनडे जोन, वनडे चैलेंजर खेली इंडिया ए के लिए, फिर T20 में अच्छा किया बंगाल